Hey, what's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and it's another late night interview. Thursday night reviews start now. Uh, Beginning with Bones. I'm torn on this episode because it seemed like it was going to be interesting, but then they dropped back to the formula again. And if you're wondering what the formula is, it's almost always one of the people you meet first, and if they're being accused like 10 minutes before, or no, 15 minutes before, it's probably not them. But if it's between 10 to 5 minutes and they're being accused, it's probably them, to leave time for, personal stuff to wrap up. And also, most of the time, it's somebody that has not been brought in for questioning. Like they'll bring in this person to question, find out something about the first person they question, bring them back in, and finally end with the one person that has not been questioned yet. And they're most of the time the killer. A couple times it is, if it's the first person you meet, they've been questioned the first time and then let go, and then they come back to that first person and they're the killer. And it's the same thing here. And once again, so much room to do something very interesting, making an intense case. And I'm so, thank God it was not the woman's husband, because if that was it, I was gonna be done watching Bones forever. Like, that would have been completely got all this stuff going on, selling out American agents, stuff going on with the NSA, hacking into people's, and then it's the husband because she was having an affair. I would have killed somebody. Probably not, but I would have been done watching Bones forever because that would have been completely stupid. But they didn't go that route. I'm trying to think of, there was like one thing that I found enjoyable about this episode, and I can't remember what it was now. Oh, yeah. Once again, the only thing that's been enjoyable about this season, Agent Aubrey. And of course, Thanksgiving's next week, so they're having their Thanksgiving episode this week. And talking about food, it's hysterical. I don't know why it cracks me up so much, but it does. He's just a joy to watch whenever he's in the screen, whenever he's on the scene. He's funny. He's a good cop. Whenever he's interrogating somebody, you can see the intensity. You can see that he is a great FBI agent. But then he also has this side of him whenever they're talking about food that's just so playful and cheerful, and he's likable. And he's the only character that has been consistently good all season long. And because it's Thanksgiving episode based around food, of course he's talking a lot about food. So he was enjoyable. But other than that, just not much there. Okay, they didn't start off with some stupid idiots like destroying the body, because I talked about how almost all the episodes recently have been like the two guys that were stupid riding on the trash disposal thing, and they see all the trash bags, and instead of picking them and putting them out of the way, they just run over it because, hey, why not? Let's see what this baby can do. Tears up the body. They had the one where the kid and his father were out hunting in the woods, and they find the skull, and the kid shoots it with a shotgun. Who knows why? But this one, it opens with Booth and Bones talking about stuff, and then they get a call about a body that was discovered in a river. So they didn't do that. They shied away from that for this episode, but I guarantee it's going to be back next episode because they keep using it. But that, once again, not a whole lot good about this episode. It seemed like it was going to go somewhere and then just didn't. And I guess because of the past few episodes being as dull and boring as they have been, my expectations are low. So all of this stuff going on, normally I'd be like, oh, this could go somewhere, and then expectations are up here about where it can go, and then it doesn't go there. Now all of a sudden I'm disappointed. But the show has kind of set my expectations down here, keep it on camera, over the past few weeks. And so I knew it wasn't gonna be the black guy that was running the whatever. He was another NSA agent, I think, but he was like being outed for something. I can't honestly. All the details of this were so just. I couldn't even pay attention. It was just so boring. It was just a lot of information just being talked about. She's working on this case, and she had an informant, the American, and blah blah blah. And she was like writing stuff about this company, and I don't know, like if he was the killer, that would have been interesting because he was so confident coming in there, talking to him. He's like, "I didn't kill her. You have nothing on me." Like, let's just say theoretically that this is what happened. You have no proof. And I'm just like, see, that would be awesome if he was a killer and he like hid his tracks so well, and it took Dr. Brennan's in like exceptional detection skills to find like this one little thing that was off and find out what that leads to, and it leads to him. But no, nope, that wasn't it at all. It was the American, her informant, who turned out to be the NSA agent that the whole time is like sneaking around. And I don't know, like he didn't seem like a killer. He didn't seem like the informant. This whole time, I don't even know. Like, it was bizarre because in a way it was a plot twist, but at the same time it didn't feel like one. You know, like most of the time if there's a plot twist and something changes dramatic, I'm like, holy crap, you know, like that was shocking. I did not see that coming. In this case, I didn't see it coming, but I wasn't shocked. I wasn't like, oh my gosh, it's him. I just, oh okay, so he's the informant. Oh okay, so he's the killer. Like, it just, they're in the room where the husband saw the victim with some guy in fancy shoes, and they're like finding this NSA agent's fingerprints all over the room. I'm just like, he did it on purpose. And Hodgins is like, this guy's really terrible. He did it on purpose. He finds another one. God, I can't believe how many he did it on purpose. Wait, maybe he's not terrible. Like, of course. And then they find out he's the American. He's the one feeding the information. And so he accuses this company because they have these like West African torture techniques or whatever. That the black NSA agent he apparently knows about, and really stupid, by the way, the fact that this it's the Latino guy that I can't remember his name because he hasn't been in an episode in like since last season, I don't think. But he's the one that was like flirting with Dr. Brennan in the first episode he came. Everybody, like all the women in the office, are like, "Oh, he's so beautiful." I'm just like, whatever. But they're research, like they're looking over the bones, and then they find, shin, like her shins were cracked from interrogation techniques. And Cam's like, I don't know if I've ever seen interrogation. He's like, well, it's from West African. Like they use a specific type of. How do you know this? Like what did you just happen to look up in like torture interrogation techniques this week? And it just happened to be West Africa. It just stuck out in your mind. You're like, oh, yeah, they do this. It was just so out of nowhere. Like really, this guy knows about West African torture techniques. That's a little convenient. And so they bring the guy in, but there's still 15 minutes left in the episode, and he's claiming his innocence. So I'm like, well, he didn't do it. And from who was left, honestly, they went with the second best option, I guess. Because it was either the husband, that guy, or it was the new girl who was going to take over her job. She was younger, she was prettier, so she was already almost close to the job. And so whenever she died, well, now she's taking it over. And I thought it would have been interesting maybe to have her as the killer, but maybe they think it's for the job. You really just killed her for this position, and it turns out she was working with somebody, and so I don't know, something interesting like that. I think that probably would have been the best option. But no, they went with the American uh, for really no really good reason. Apparently, he was the informant, and he didn't want her to publish what he was informing her on. It really doesn't make any sense. If you don't even have to really think about it. It doesn't make any sense at all. I'm going to be your informant. I'm going to give you this information so you don't publish it. Oh, you're going to publish it? Don't do it. Hits her. Oh, she fell on something. It was an accident. I swear, if I see another episode of Bones this season where somebody accidentally killed somebody, I'm gonna flip out. I'm so sick of all of these stupid episodes where somebody pushes somebody and they hit their head on the table and they're dead. I was so mad. I swung and hit. I didn't realize I hit them that hard and they died. I'm so sick of it. It's such an overused thing in this show that so many of these people are not really killers. They just accidentally push them to death. Like something horrible happened. Like this is Bones. I don't want to live in this universe. I do not want to live in this universe because I could accidentally bump into somebody. They can trip and fall, and a log will come just bursting through their spine. Why? I don't know. I didn't mean to. I just bumped them. They were walking towards me, and I just bumped it. But because I didn't want to get convicted of manslaughter, I'm gonna take their body, I'm gonna rip them up, and I'm gonna throw them into a pond. Because that'll help my case. It happens every time. They always claim innocence. They always claim it's an accident. Well, why did you hide the freaking body if it was an accident? Because manslaughter just went, out the window. And I'm really frustrated because I'm sick of the show digging itself farther and farther down into a hole. And don't get me wrong, this episode was not nearly as bad as some of the other ones from this season so far. But it's still frustrating to see them making the same mistakes, doing the same formula again. The only thing that was interesting about this episode was the case was a bit more interesting, but the ending was still the same. It's like, why? Why can't you come up with a different ending? Why can't you come up with a surprising ending? Something that's not gonna make me go, oh, okay, so it's that guy. Okay, I kind of saw that coming. Didn't really, but not really surprising. This show just holds no more surprises. There's nothing else going on right now that I mean, there's nothing going on outside of these cases to make me interested in watching more. The personal lives, they're all getting along great. Nothing's wrong. There was something, I didn't even know who this kid is. He was calling Booth dad. It must have been from... That's how bad this has gotten. I can hardly remember past episodes and what's happened in past episodes. I barely remember Booth's brother when he died at the beginning of the season. I hardly remember that because last season was just so frustrating to watch for the most part that I forgot a lot of stuff. And that's sad. The fact that these episodes are so bad that I can't remember stuff from the past because I'm so focused on how bad it is now. I forget what was in the past. I forget how good it was back then. I really need to go back and watch the past episodes again because, of course, at this point, I feel like the formula for those past episodes may be similar to now. Just it wasn't as frustrating back then because it wasn't 11 seasons into the show. They're still doing similar formula. I don't know. Am I wrong? There's really not much else to talk about this, so I'm going to cut it off here. Just really frustrating. Okay, hang on. One more thing. Stop making jokes at the scene of the crime or talking about a dead person. It's not funny. I talked about it in my Criminal Minds review last night. They make jokes, but it's after, or it's before the case. It's never during the case. Bones recently, for some reason, they seem to find humor in death. they're making jokes about this woman and all of this stuff. It's just like one big joke. Like somebody died, you know. Like the only time we ever get those emotional scenes with that is whenever they're talking to the victims of, or the family or the friends of the victim, and even that, I mean, it hardly happens anymore. Like I feel like it's only happened 3 out of the 8 episodes now. So I don't know what needs to happen to fix it, but it needs to be fixed. The formula's got to stop. We've got to go with something different. Change it up a bit. Something. Please, Bones, come back. Now I'm done. So let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you at the next review. Peace out.